if she wasn't there.
Tell her it was the auction.
Yeah, it was a very merry on auction to you, to me. Now I know that. Hi everybody. Hi Gail B. Great to see you. Let me go to the. She wasn't there. Okay, so I know that the holidays are hard for a lot of people going through grief. We have a lot of people in this community who have lost loved ones, a lot of people that have lost children, unfortunately. Okay. And Shabby had her daughter's birthday yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And Bucky Ann had your son's birthday. Was it on the 7th?
No. He passed on the 1st. It was his burial on the 7th.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And Linda had her son's birthday. What was it? The 13th?
I think the 10th.
The 10th. Yeah. It's all hitting around there.
What?
Yeah, I think the 10th.
Was it the 10th?
Yeah, I think.
So I mean.
It was also my parents' anniversary too yesterday.
Oh yeah. Right. Right. So how are you guys coping?
I found it's easier if I can't decorate a Christmas tree anymore. Like we used to do the whole thing, like play the music and have hot chocolate, and we'd all decorate the tree. Mm-hmm. And I found it's just easy. I just used that ceramic tree. I pulled it out of the box, put it in, plugged it in, and I was done. I had to get through it fast.
You know, it's something strange. Yeah, and it's just weird. Like, I have these. It's just sometimes if you see my door, there's some Christmas clings that are on the top panels of glass, and I haven't taken them down, and they've been up for 4 years because they're the last ones that he ever saw. I couldn't take them down, and so they're just stay up there all year.
And that's okay. That's right.
But yeah, it's hard. Like I want to tell him about my painting because he was very artistic. And there's just so many things. Like, I don't know. Do you guys think that all the time? Like, I wonder what he would think about this, and if he knew that I was doing that. And it's just
things you would normally have shared.
Yeah.
Not there to see it anymore.
Right. That's hard.
I have pictures of him everywhere, pretty much, in my house.
Yeah.
So, I belong to a bereavement group in town, in the church, and there are some people there that said they got rid of all the pictures and put them all away because they can't look at the pictures of their children.
Oh, wow.
But like I can't help. I have a picture of him almost everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
I want to be able to say, I know they're old pictures, but I still look at them because that's pretty much how he looked.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I have his preschool picture on the wall too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to go. I'm going to the cemetery to decorate it for Christmas. I have a little Christmas tree I bring, and I put it there because I have old videos that are on VHS, and I wish I could get them onto something else.
Yeah, me too.
of us decorating the tree, and he was probably about 3 or 4 years old. And he was running around and playing, and we kept saying, watch, you're going to break the walls, watch, you're going to break. And then he gently picks up one, and he walks all the way across the room to the tree, and then drops it just before he's about to put it on the tree. I wasn't laughing at the time. I was like, step back, you know, get away from the glass.
I don't know, but this, I don't know, I was just really, really in a very deep funk.
Here's the thing, though, too. When I first joined my bereavement group, I was like between 3 and 6 months in, and the girl who was running it, she was at 5 years already. And I remember thinking then, how could I ever make it to 5 years? Like, I can't keep doing this every single day. Then she got to 7 years, and it actually got worse for her. She actually, I don't know what happened, but she had like a breakdown, and she had to stop being the leader. She couldn't do it anymore. And I remember thinking back then, like I thought this is gonna get better in time. And now I just reached 7 years, and now I understand. It doesn't get better. In fact, it sometimes feels worse, because the further away you get from it, and the longer the years go by, you realize it's never going to change. It doesn't go back. I don't know how to explain that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess it hits you more and more. As the years go by, it hits you more and more. Like, this is
Yeah.
really real, and they're really not coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are a few comments in your chat, Carolyn. Linda says she has a hard time looking at pictures still. And Snow Remover says, I feel the funk. It's scary to feel that sad.
It is, yeah.
The one thing I try not to let, like, my sadness affect my other son.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously he's special needs, so he doesn't know. But if he sees me sad, he
Right.
starts asking me, why am I sad? What's the
Yeah.
matter? He tries to cheer me up.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, I don't really talk that much about it to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because I don't want to upset her.
Right.
And then she doesn't talk to me because she doesn't want to upset me. But the thing is, talking about it, I don't know if people realize, like, they won't bring it up because they don't want to upset me or make me cry. And it's like, I'd rather you talk about it and make me cry, because that keeps him here.
Right.
I don't want him to be forgotten. I don't want everybody to pretend he didn't exist. I want them to remember him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. It's and there's other things about traditions and I don't know. But this year, I don't even feel like it's Christmas. I haven't done one thing. Haven't felt like doing one thing. I haven't done any shopping.
Yeah, I haven't shopped yet either. I don't look forward to it either.
Just, yeah. Facebook is like sometimes Facebook is really hard. I mean, there's grief groups I belong to, so then I'll look at some of those things and share some of those things. But sometimes, just stupid posts that you come across. You know what I mean?
I belong to like 2 or 3 groups I belong on Facebook, bereavement groups. Sometimes I post things, but I guess I posted more in the beginning when I first found the group.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to the group in person, there were about 20 of us, and there were 2 people there that they both had lost a son maybe between 4 and 6 years earlier when I first started going there. And within 2 years of me being there, they both lost a second child a month apart.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how they functioned. I have to go through that whole beginnings part again.
Oh, I hear you, Sean. Do you know I've never opened cards that were sent when he passed? I've never opened them. I couldn't open them. They're in a box. And every time I say, oh, I'll open that on this anniversary, that I can't open them.
I mean, cards that were sent to you, like condolence cards?
Sympathy cards.
You know, it's strange. I found the box of condolence cards.
Mm-hmm.
I must have opened them and read them back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at them like I had never seen them before. I don't remember getting them. I don't remember reading them. It was like totally new. Even though I must have, they were all opened. I just don't remember them.
I couldn't open any there. I opened ones from Ramblers, but nothing from family and friends.
No.
I can't do it. Jimmy said, you don't want to open them? I said, no. I put them all in a box. Where's Evie?
What?
Where's Evie?
I don't know. She's not in that room. She must have walked out. It was just yesterday. I was just standing in the kitchen and I was cleaning up and it like hit me again and I was like, you're really gone. You're not here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you not be here? Like, I'm still here. Why aren't you still here? Doesn't make sense.
No.
Bring them into the world. You expect them to be there the whole time you're here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. And what did I don't know. I have a hard time it's keep trying to keep the faith, you know. The more evil I see in this world, the more evil just all over. Evil destroying lives, evil hard time believing that there's anything. And that's the sad part, because there's some people that have like this unwavering faith, and I think I'm losing more and more of it every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, sometimes I just think it's all a lie. Doesn't seem to be real. It doesn't. It's just to keep people from going insane, to know that the end is the end. So much
They
evil.
always say that God has his purpose, and it's not up to us to question it, but it's kind of hard when, like, nothing, absolutely nothing came out of that could be considered good or a lesson learned or anything. Like, it was just a horrible thing, and he wasn't a horrible person, so why did that happen?
Right.
You see these killers that are going wacko and stuff like that, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
they're allowed to live and get away with this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they always say, only the good die young. I believe my mother died young. Son, I mean, well, I've got mean old crotchety neighbors
Right.
who still walk out every day and
Mm-hmm.
complain and just nasty people. Not that I bother with any of my neighbors. Some of them I'll wave to, but that's about it. Not only that, when my son passed, everyone on the block knew. Not one person sent a card. Not one person came to the wake. Nothing. Except for my next door neighbor. Not only did he come to the wake, he sent the card. He brought flowers. Of course, that's the neighbor that picked up and moved. Like, he was the only good neighbor, and he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why he left. His wife passed, and he decided to just move away, go down to Florida.
Yeah, shot does seem like that, huh? Hey, Crystal.
I'll be glad when the holidays are done.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the January doldrums, right? And the winter, you know. Only one friend reached out to me when my mom died. I was shocked. Sorry, Holly. Yeah, a lot of people don't know what to say. A lot of people are scared, especially with the loss of a child. They want to get as far away from you as they can. Or rationalize why it happened to you and not to them, so that they don't have to worry about it happening to them.
Kind of hard to rationalize it, though, isn't it?
But they do.
Maybe not.
No, they do.
Huh?
I know people have people have said that. Like this one,
What, they
Well-
find fault in you?
no, this one lady said to this woman that had 3 kids and lost one, she said she met her in a restaurant and said, "I'm so sorry about the loss of your child, you know, but I don't know, that can't happen to me because I only have one child. If that would happen to me, I couldn't go on. I can't. So, you know, you have 2 others, so that's good," she told her, and she rationalized why it couldn't happen to her. I have a very good friend who lost her only child.
Sure.
Yeah, happens.
Yeah,
you
there
know,
were
it's-
several in my bereavement group too. They
Mhm.
had only one child and they lost that one child.
Right.
Cousin lost both of hers. Both.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yep.
But they will. They rationalize it because people want to know. Like it's just a natural thing of human nature. Like you're so okay. Well, how water skiing accident? Okay, that's okay because you know, water skiing accident. Yeah, they don't water ski. Like it's like it's just
Oh,
human
yeah.
nature. It's even with any kind of loss. Like people immediately want to hear about it and kind of rationalize away how that won't happen. You know what it is? It's just in human nature. It is. And
What's the thing? That could never happen to me.
right.
I never thought it could happen to me. I remember my friend
Yeah, I know.
years ago, her son passed, and I was like, I didn't even know what to say to her because you really just don't know what to say. But obviously, I didn't really know how she felt until I went through it. And then I remember thinking back, like what could I have said to make her feel better back then? Like, what would
Nothing.
make me feel better now? And there really isn't anything.
Mm-mm. I know my friend lost her only son. I think it was in 2017. And I remember I just gasped, like when the breath just came out of me when I. And there's nothing you can say.
No.
Snapshot. My cousin recently lost her son. She's had 2 sons. She's lost both of them. Oh my gosh. I was by her side. She took care of everything. She was seriously depressed, and I continued to love her. Oh wow. Sorry. It's tough.
It is. It's too much.
But a lot of times you pretend you're all right. You pretend you're all right all the time. You're all right. Oh,
Yeah, it gets tiring.
yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. And then some people don't want to see you fall apart. You know, like that's scary to them.
Yeah.
Even I'm not even talking about like your kids or anything, your friends or anything.
No.
I don't want to see it. And you don't want to trouble them either. Like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Everything's good. Doing real good.
Well, that's another thing that we used to speak about in the bereavement group is when people try to tell somebody, you know, like, oh, don't worry about it. In time, you'll get over it.
Yeah,
You'll get past it. And it's like, you know, you get past it when your parents pass because
you know that's
accepted that.
Yeah.
If a sibling or another kind of relative goes, eventually you do get past it. I remember my uncle passed, who was like a brother to me. Yeah, I cried every day for 3 months. And then I started to slowly get past it, I guess you would say, accept it. But when it's your child, it's different because you brought that person into this world and they're supposed to be here when you leave.
Right. And you know the hardest thing is like not having them to talk about things that you did together. You know?
Yeah.
You're the only
When you
one
see
left that
things or
has
hear
that. You know,
things.
like you always thought, oh, I'd always be able to talk to him about this, that, or the other thing. And he's gone, and you're left. You're the only one with that.
Uh-huh.
You know, and you can't. That's so hard. Mhm.
You know, one thing that I was glad about is when he was a baby, that song "Unforgettable" had come out with Natalie King
Yeah.
Cole. Natalie King Cole. She sang it with her father, like they blended it.
Mhm.
So I used to walk around the house and rock him to that song. So as he grew up, I used to always say, you know, whenever that song would come on the radio, I'd pick him up and like dance with him and hold him and everything. So when he got back from the army, I had told him that when he gets married, I wanted to dance, you know, the mother-son dance.
Yeah.
I said, I want to dance to that song with you. And he was like, what song? I was like, Unforgettable, the song that's playing right now, because we were at my aunt's wedding. That song was playing. And he goes, oh, this song? And I said, yeah. And then my daughter turned and said, yes, Mama used to dance with you all the time to this song. And then he held his hand out and he said, well, let's dance to it. So I got up and we went out on the dance floor. They took pictures and everything and I got it. Now, I was never able to dance, obviously, at his wedding, and I never will, but I was very happy that I got to dance with him that day to that song.
Yeah.
I even have the words Unforgettable with music notes on his headstone. It's just strange, it happened at my aunt's wedding, he was such a gentleman. My aunt's mother-in-law was 90, well, maybe she was 98 at the time. She lived to 102, but she was 98 at the time that they got married. And my son wasn't supposed to be in the bridal party or anything, but the mother of the bride is supposed to walk in, and they asked my son, they said, can you escort her? Her name was Mimi. And he said, sure. He said, I'll walk her in. So he escorted her in, and then he held her arm because she was really tiny and frail, and you know she really couldn't walk that well.
Mm-hmm.
But then after the bride and groom's first dance, then they said, all right, everybody else join in and dance. And we all turned around, and there's my son, 21 years old, dancing with a 98-year-old woman who had a smile from ear to ear on her face because she was dancing with a 21-year-old guy. everybody took pictures. Everybody was like, they were watching them more than the bride and groom. Even the bride and groom stopped to watch them.
It's precious.
Hey, Linda, you Ruby.
That's the kind of person he was. He was always
Sorry, Linda.
loved kids. He loved animals. Loved older people. It didn't matter. Like he was a cheerleader for the underdog, I guess you would say. I remember when he was 3 years old, he asked me which job paid the most money. And I was thinking about it, and I said, I don't know, maybe like become a CPA. And he was like, what's a CPA? I said, I don't know, it's something to do with numbers and stuff like that. And he goes, okay. He said, that's what I want to be when I grow up. So I said, why are you so worried about making money? What do you want to do with it? He said, I want to make a lot of money so I can buy a bunch of blankets and give out the blankets to all the homeless people. But I guess that stuck with him because that's what he was going to college for. Be a CPA.
Wow.
I'm in New York, Nina. I don't know. I don't know where, oh, sorry, video. No. Where did Abby go?
Oh no.
You know what I want to get? I want to get a tattoo of him, like how he signed his name.
Yeah.
What's his
signature?
first name? I want to get a tattoo with that and then the dates. I've seen them do that. Because I always used to call him Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Not on a regular basis, but like if he was outside in the backyard and I wanted him to come inside, I'd go, yo, Anthony! And he'd come in. And when he signed his name, that's sort of looked like that's what he was writing.
Abby didn't get upset, did she?
No.
I don't think so.
She's still here.
Yeah, I know. She's just not there anymore.
Maybe she's
Maybe
walking
she went
dog.
to. No, what time is it? I was going to say maybe she's eating, but it's.
Yeah, it's only 10 o'clock there, right?
Is it?
Yeah. She might be taking Bob on a nightly walk.
Oh, that's possible.
Bob. Oh.
What I watched today, some of the things about Chris Watts,
Yeah.
and I just watched. I can't believe, like, here we are struggling because our kids are gone, and here's a guy who took his kids out
No.
himself. Like
Right. Chose to do that, and then
Like,
And
doesn't that
causes-
doesn't torture him every single day? Like,
no,
get it.
because
he didn't even cry. He didn't even cry. Like, it was like, I mean, I understand he did it to them, but I mean,
No, or
maybe
care that
regretted a little bit after that. Like, think, oh,
The only time he cried is when he was feeling self-pity.
yeah, about himself, about his life, because he's a sociopath. He's a psychopath. They don't have real emotions. They don't feel
Right.
remorse or guilt or anything. They don't. They just go through the motions. But look what they devastated family.
Yeah.
Lost their daughter, 3 grandchildren. I mean,
no,
Took-
just
so sad.
devastating. And he goes on with his prison girlfriends and pen pals and
See, that's what doesn't make sense.
right. I know.
How does he get to live like a horrible person like that?
Yeah.
Still gets to walk the face of the earth. I know wherever he is, he's in jail, but he's still alive. He still eats every day and watches TV or
That's right.
tells jokes with the other prisoners or whatever. He's still getting to live.
Yeah.
He's, good people are gone, and he's still walking the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's in a good prison. He likes it there.
You know, they probably get internet and everything. I can't stand that when I hear that. You took somebody's life. You shouldn't have internet. I wouldn't give them TV. I would give them nothing. They should have nothing because the person that they harmed has nothing.
Took everything. Yeah.
I get retrospect. Yeah, they're in heaven right now, but they have nothing here on earth anymore.
Right.
So while they're here on earth, they should have nothing.
I agree.
Or the where they go, oh, they've lost a son too. No, they didn't lose a son. Their son is in prison. He's not lost. He didn't
Right.
lose his life. He ended lives. He destroyed lives. But he's not dead.
And that's just it. I mean, they can still
They've
correspond
lost
with him.
I know they've lost a son too. No, they haven't.
Right.
I'm except for eating the cold macaroni out of the refrigerator.
Oh, God.
That kid never stops eating. Then my eye is still burning. I got the onion juice in it, and it's still like my whole eyelid now is getting puffy.
Did you wash it out with water?
Oh, there she is. Where'd
Yeah,
you
I
go?
did.
Oh, you did? I
I
was,
went right into the bathroom and grabbed ice cold water and like cupped it, and then I opened up my eye. I stuck my head back and let it fall.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I was talking to Ruff. She called.
Oh,
I was talking to her. I think she's in there right now, though, isn't she?
mm-mm.
In your chat? No?
Mm.
I'm supposed to call her right back, but
Oh,
I don't know.
how are you doing this holiday season?
How am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
As far as Jamie?
Uh huh.
I think when I walked out of the room, I heard Becky saying she doesn't put up the Christmas tree anymore. When
Yeah.
Jamie died, I had two younger kids, and I couldn't stop Christmas for them, even though I lost Jamie. But and now the grandkids are here, so it's changed for me. It's better now. But at first, I didn't want nothing to do with it. But of course, she died in February, and but her birthday being close to Christmas it's a bugger.
Yeah.
But I just feel she's in a safer place, as weird as that sounds. She was physically, you could tell something was wrong with her, and people made fun of her, and that broke my heart
Why did they make fun of her? My God.
because kids are cruel, and even adults are cruel.
Oh, yeah,
She was an
definitely.
innocent little girl, but was blind. She was almost blind. She was almost totally blind. So she had glasses, and she was developmentally delayed. And people just, she rode the little yellow bus to school, and they just made fun of her, and they stare at her. My dad would get so furious. I think I got over that before my dad did. When I was in the hospital and they told me that, she was born like that, and I was just like, they would tell me something new was wrong with her every day. We were there 14 days, and finally I just said, but she's alive, right? She's alive. And they told me yes, and I said, then it don't matter what's wrong with her. I just loved her already, and I wanted her, she needs to be alive, and I'll take care of her. And I did the best I could, but she was a pistol. She really was. She would kick me in the shins, and my dad would buy her these like Michael Jackson shoes or black boots with the steel toe, and I would yell at him, "Don't buy her those." But when she was good, she was really good. When she was bad, I mean, she would flip my dad off of her when he would try to hold her down because she would break things. She was a pistol, and I guess that had to do with the rubella also. That's her. My dad would say it's because she can't hardly see and she was deaf. And she looks at I was raising 5 kids, and she sees them all talking to each other and playing and stuff, and they'd play with her, but she couldn't understand what they were saying. So he goes, she's frustrated, and I always felt that she was born that way, so it's not as bad as it appears. It wasn't to me. It wasn't like something was taken away from her. She was born like that. She didn't know what she had lost.
Yeah,
She
no,
was
I
very-
get it.
She was very happy. She was a very happy girl. Like I said, when she was good, she was so good. We didn't have to worry about her taking off and running across the street or nothing. She would stay my house, and I lived 2 doors down from my dad, and she loved to be with my dad because he spoiled her rotten. She would get up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, didn't matter what time, and she would mosey on down to my dad's. We had to put a deadlock in the house so she couldn't take off. That's the only place she would go, was his house. But I miss her a whole lot. To tell you the truth, she taught me so much in the short time she was here. Or when I got pregnant, she taught me a lot because I was on a roll. I had a brand new Camaro. I was, had a lot of friends, always on the go. And she made me stop and smell the roses because I wasn't able to say, hey, you across the room, stop doing that. I had to get right in her face and do sign language to her. I just had to slow it down a lot, and it taught me a lot. And then with the kids bullying her, that taught me another thing. And as weird as this may sound, it taught my sons not to make fun of people that have handicaps or are different than they are. They
That-
loved her, and they love anybody that's around that they meet that has a disability. They relate to them. I'm blessed in that way, and so are they. She gave us a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the same with Dominic. Dominic, he was in a special school for most of his life, and then when he got to high school, they transitioned him into regular high school.
Yeah.
And there was a class just for them, but there were a lot of kids that made fun of him, and he wasn't aware of it. He didn't even know. He would tell me, "No, Mom, they're my friends,"
Right.
and they would do things like they would ask him to dance, and he'd start dancing like in the cafeteria, and then they'd start throwing nickels at him, and he just, he thought it was fun, and
He was happy that his friends were having fun.
yeah, he said my friends like when I dance, and they even give me money, and like that upset me. I of course went to the school and I told them,
Yeah.
please stop letting them ridicule him like that. He
Yeah.
doesn't know he's being ridiculed, but I do. I know it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they stopped it. They did tell the whole class, to leave him alone and without him there. And then, but I mean, it happens at any place. We would be at the park because he'd be the big kid, He was like 15 years old, running around playing with the 6 and 7-year-olds.
Right.
But I remember one time, I heard like these kids yelling at him. They were calling him retard. And now my son didn't know what that word meant, but he turned around and he said, "I think you're a retard." And then his mother comes over to me and starts yelling at me that my son called her son a retard. And I just looked at her and I said, well, the difference is you obviously know that your son isn't. My son actually is disabled with mental retardation. And then she just looked at me and she said, "Oh, okay." And she turned and walked away. But I mean, the way she came in, like,
Yeah.
pointing her
I would
finger
have
in my
said
face.
she's the retard.
I just looked at her and I said to my son Dominic, I was like, "Come over here, stay by me." I remember once he was in a bouncy house and they were making him stand in the middle and they were jumping full force into him to fling him across the bouncy house. And I saw it from across the way. I wasn't that far, maybe 25 feet away from it. Well, I ran over there and I yelled. And I said, "Come on, Dom, it's time, it's late, we have to go now." And he climbed out and he said, "I made friends, Mommy." And I just turned around and I looked at all the boys because they were looking at me. I said, "You should all be ashamed of yourselves."
Yeah.
Nobody said a word, they just looked at me.
Yeah. Kids are like that. And that's why I say my kids were blessed because of their sister. She taught them a lesson, not how to treat people, not how not to treat people.
Right.
Both
I
of
think
my
that's why
sons
my
are-
daughter was able to become a teacher for kids with disabilities. Because
Yeah.
she lived with it and she took care of him right alongside of me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when she first started, they were like, "Oh, well, you're going to see some things and some kids are going to have tantrums." And she was like, "That's all right. I've been there before. I know everything to do. Don't worry about it."
Yeah. I get phone calls sometimes from her school, and they would tell me we got 3 police officers down here right now because she won't behave. We need you to come pick her up. And I'm like, you have 3 police officers down there, and they can't get her in the car. What makes you think I'm going to be able to do that?
True.
That's when they put her into a regular. She got to high school, and they put her in a regular. It was just deaf kids in high school. When you go in there, these kids were talking sign language, but they were talking about going to the prom and having to go to work after school. My daughter was not that at that age.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
right.
she would sit on a little plastic chair and she would bop her head back and forth and back and forth. And she was definitely not your normal high school kid. And I went to the IEP and they tried to tell me she's going to go to this classroom, and then everybody was in agreement, and the teacher goes, "Yeah, you guys are all agreeing to it, but I'm the one that's going to be stuck with her." And I
Oh,
could
goodness.
not stand. I got out of that chair so fast.
Oh, God.
it was just like I was running into walls trying to get her placed at that age. So,
Yeah, see, luckily for me, they had a class just for him. Like, I think there were 8 kids
yeah,
in like the whole school district. There were 8 kids just like him. So it was good for, for him and for
yeah,
them. They were all together. But
yeah,
like he would do lunch with everyone else, and he would do gym and everything. And that's where the trouble started, when he wasn't in regular classes.
yeah,
But he became like a Houdini because he wasn't supposed to be allowed out of the school, obviously. But he would escape, and then they would call me up and they'd say, "Did he come home by any chance?" And I'd be
oh,
like,
I would
"No,
have
he
flipped.
didn't come home. Where is he?" "All right, we've already called the police. They were on the way." "Okay." And then we all had to search the town. It got to the point where the police knew him by name. Um, one time he escaped, and we couldn't find him in his usual haunts, like the store or a park or something like that. Um, what he did is he escaped and went to the 3rd floor of the school, which they weren't using anymore. And he just hung out up there. They were like old desks and chairs, and he
Yeah,
walked around and played. And because he didn't need anyone, not even a toy. He didn't need. He had his whole world in his own head.
yeah,
So you could leave him for hours, and he would just be playing like in my own backyard. He'd just walk around playing. And he'd be living out movies or cartoons that he had watched.
Mm-hmm.
He would do the whole movie. Like, he loves the Poseidon Adventure,
Mm.
and
Oh,
he does
yeah.
it. He loves Ernest Borgnine, and that's what he used to do all the time.
yeah. Jamie would always sit real close to the TV, and she would, when you walk in the room, she'd have it on the Spanish channels. I think because of the women, there were like pretty women on the Spanish channels, and they always wore like bright lipstick, and
Yeah,
she,
yeah.
and she just loved it. She would turn it right to that channel and sit there and watch it. But the thing that makes me sad at Christmas time with her is that she loved to have flashlights. She loved lights because her one eye was, they had given her eye surgery to remove this cataract. Then that's when she had heart failure, and then they found out everything was wrong with her. But she had 5 eye surgeries, and one eye was like blue, like it gets when you get blind. It's, it wasn't
Oh, yeah.
growing and stuff. So she had her eye like that, and she would hold a flashlight up and she would look into that eye, probably trying to figure out why she couldn't see the light, but she could see it in the other eye.
Right,
And
right.
so she loved lights. Every time she turned around, she's getting new flashlights and had lights in her room. And so when we do lights outside, that's when I get real sad. And yesterday at the cemetery, it completely slipped my mind not to bring her lights that would go on at night for her. But when we were walking out, we seen these people that had lit up their person's grave, and with the solar lights, and for like from 99-cent store. And
Oh.
that I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna bring her a big
Great
Christmas tree
idea.
and those lights. And they have these little ones that are like optic kind of looking lights. Then it goes, looks like a water fountain spread, sprinkling. But they have those there, and so they suck up the sun all day, and then at night it does that there.
Yeah, right.
I was glad that we were there, but I said, "Oh my gosh, Johnny, we got to get her a tree." And I'm not talking a little tree. They put regular sized trees up there for them. They
Do
won't
they
take them
really?
down until January 8th. And people put all kinds of decorations out there.
Yeah, the cemetery my son is at is like that. You can put anything you want there,
Yeah. But if
any
you don't
kind
go
of
back on
decoration,
that,
as long as it's not taller than the tombstone, they're fine with it.
yeah,
But what if it's flat? What if it's in an area where it's flat?
all our headstones are flat here in California.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, see ours are
Yours are the
over
big
there.
ones.
They're up to like 8 feet tall.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't have big ones, Evie?
No, not that I
Some
see.
areas of the cemetery have the big ones and some and parts of it don't.
There's a cemetery by me, Pine Lawn it's called, and it has all those flat stones. You're not allowed
Yeah.
to put anything out. And if you do, if you put it even with flowers, by the next day they're gone. They'll come, they pick them up.
Oh, I was
Oh,
just
no.
thinking lights would be awesome. I'd love
Yeah.
to-
I have those. I have the spotlights shining back. From the Dollar Tree. They get
Yeah.
the sun all day and then they shine on this tombstone all night.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I go sometimes at night. I'll go at like midnight. I go there and I sit there.
Oh, you do? We can't.
You can get in? No, ours is closed.
But yeah, no, ours is open all the time.
Wow.
Yeah,
They have
mine's
gates, but they
closed.
just don't close it. The one my mother and father are at,
Houses are closed in the winter. They won't let us in.
Right.
And the fence that goes around it is like, it's a block wall and then there's a gap, like a 4-foot gap and then another block wall and then a gap. So as you drive down the street, I can turn and look in there and see her. If it has lights on it, I can see right where she's at. I know right where she's at anyways.
right.
But I just, when I saw the trees out there yesterday, I was like, oh my God, I forgot. We got to get her a tree and lights because that was her thing.
Yeah.
You know, we fixed it up with what we brought, and even people, they sprayed that flocking stuff, the snow on their grave. I don't think that's a good idea though. That would probably kill the
Oh.
grass. But
Yeah.
they put they put stakes in the ground, and then they put ribbon so it looks like a bed, kind of, square around them,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
put all this stuff inside there. But
Yeah, I put I got like those gray bricks and I made like a rectangle coming straight from it. You're allowed out so many, I think it's only 18 inches or maybe 24 inches from the headstone out you're allowed to go. And you can put all things in there.
yeah,
But if you go any further than that, they will take those end bricks out. I saw it happen to the tombstone next to us.
yeah. My friend, she goes to the cemetery and she brings those tiki lights. And she says she
Yeah.
puts them up when they go. It doesn't even have to be his birthday or holiday. They go visit him. They stick those tiki lights and turn them on fire, and they stay out there and drink with him. They said, I never went with them, but I couldn't do that.
I do. I find beer caps on the tombstone. Like I guess when his friends go there, that's
Yeah,
what they do. They'll sit there and hang out, and
Have a
they'll
beer.
have like a
One-
drink with him.
instead of putting flowers in the cup, they'll pour alcohol in there for him.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. And then they leave the beer cap there. So, I mean, you might look at it and say, "Oh, who left this beer?" But I more or less look at it. And I'm like, "Oh, one of his friends was here doing this." You know.
Yeah. I don't have no problem with that. I'm just saying I couldn't light no tiki lanterns and stay out there after hours. I don't want to draw attention and get myself in trouble. Especially, how are you going to get in trouble in a cemetery? Please. I go there, I sit with her, decorate, I talk to her, then I leave. I don't do anything where someone's going to have to discipline me. How embarrassing that would be.
Yeah.
I
But
usually
I
like to
know-
go on the 4th of July, because I'll sit there. Now it's dark, so other people, no one can see me, but I can sit there and I just watch all the fireworks. Because he used to love
Really?
the 4th of July.
Yeah. We can't go in there at night. Not that I'm aware of. I know there's 2 big fences that lock up the driveways, and you can't. We were racing down there one day to get there in time, and we barely made it in. And then they let us have like an hour in there, then we had to go. But it's hard, if it wasn't for my granddaughters, I think, or the age of my sons when she passed away, it would have been a whole different story. But like Christmas did kind of die around here before the girls were born, because my kids they were old enough to where things they want I can't afford. So it was a simple, let's get together, and I always wanted to just go take everybody to a cabin in the mountains and don't bring any presents, just find stuff and make a present out of it. That means more to me when someone does that.
Yeah.
But we haven't done that yet. But when the girls came, you have to decorate. You have to, go crazy with the gifts. And they told me, Evie told me this week, Grandma, your house is so magical. I'm glad I'm here this Christmas.
Oh.
That's what I wanted her to think, was our house was magical.
That's-
Because we had the big Santa Claus out front, and we had the whole village of those houses that light up, and we had 2 Christmas trees, one in the front of the house, one in the back. And that's the whole thing that I wanted it to be like. I wanted them to think that, it was magical.
Yeah. That's the one thing I do look forward to with Benny. Obviously not this year yet, and even next year. Well, he'd be around almost 1 next
Yeah.
Christmas. So
That's your grandson?
Baby coming.
yeah,
Oh,
soon to
geez.
be
Yeah.
coming in February.
You're gonna you don't know what you got coming. It's a love that you don't think is possible. Because you love your kids so much. You don't think you could ever love anybody that much. But
Yeah.
it is past that. It's beyond that, because when you hold the grandbaby, you're holding your child again. Because they
Yeah.
live like their, mom or dad. And so it's just like the best thing that ever happened to me.
And well, that's how I felt the other. Remember, I didn't see my daughter for 3 weeks because she was sick, and then when I saw her, now the belly's there. So
Yeah.
I went over and I was hugging her hello, and then I just looked at her and I was like, "Look, my baby's got a baby in her."
Right?
And she just smiled. She goes, "Yeah, Ma."
Yeah. Where you
I said,
been?
"No, but-" I was like, "You don't get it, though." I said, "I know you don't get it." I said, "It's just that to think that I brought you here and you brought that baby here, and
Yeah, but you didn't get a lot of time to hold your babies. It seems like they grew up so fast. You don't. I know we all remember holding our babies, but it's something that you want to do more.
but you know why? Because when you're the mother and the baby's getting up all night long and you're not sleeping and the baby's crying and the baby's sick and it's work, and you just keep waiting like, oh, I can't wait till they sleep through the night. Oh, I can't wait until they can
Right.
start crawling. Oh, I can't wait till they start walking. And before you know it, you can't wait, and then suddenly they're not babies anymore.
Right. But when they have a
Like,
baby,
like I should have enjoyed them being a baby. But really, at the time, you really can't. I mean, I'm sure rich people can because, well, not that they do because they have nannies and stuff like that, but like if somebody else was doing all the work and I was able to sleep all night and then get up and just enjoy the baby all day, that would have been great.
yeah, I enjoyed being a mother. I mean, I enjoyed having the kids. I didn't enjoy I didn't like having them, but I loved being pregnant. I loved them when they came out and that part was over.
Yeah.
But I loved my kids, like played with them all the time, and I have a good relationship with my kids. But when they have grandkids, you're just gonna flip. You will flip out because you will have so much love for them.
Yeah, that's why when I had Dominic, he was the third one, of course, and I thought I didn't get to enjoy the first 2 because the first one I was newly married. There were problems with that, and she was colic, and I was a first-time mother, so that was a lot of confusion, and I was scared all the time and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when I got my second one, I said, "Oh, this one I'm going to enjoy," but then my mother got sick, and I ended up having to take care of her and an infant at the same time. So that got really, really hard. If I slept 2 hours a night, that was a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
And then my mother passed. He was 11 months old. Well, he was a week short of 1 year old when my mother died. So, like,
He was
I didn't get to enjoy his babyhood either.
right.
When I had Dominic, I was like, hey, this is obviously going to be my last one. I'm going to enjoy this baby, and I did. He was an excellent baby. By 3 weeks old, he was sleeping through the night. it was just, he was such an easy baby. I mean, easy, all the way up until he was 2 or 3. He was just, it was like having an angel. He was perfect, you know.
Right.
Of course, after that, then he got the brain damage and all that. So I didn't know it was going to turn into that. But you know how they say, careful what you wish for?
Right.
Right.
I kept saying, oh, I wish I could have my kids stay little forever. I sort of got my wish. Because,
I see
you know,
what you're
he's
saying.
28 and he's still a little kid. Ah,
Yep, I understand that. My daughter, when she passed away, her feet were only size 2 still. She was 24, but she still had little tiny feet. She was little from the day she was born.
yeah.
But boy, could she fight.
Yeah.
I would say, Dad, you can tap me out anytime, help. And when I had her too, I didn't know that it wasn't normal to go to the doctor every week, you know, because she had a lot of problems. And that was normal because that was my first baby and that's what I thought everybody did. So it wasn't no big deal. And then
Yeah,
when I had my second son, or when I had my son, he didn't go to the doctor all the time. And I was like, this is weird, you know. And he ended up being the one that helped me with Jamie, and he missed out on his childhood a lot
yeah.
because he would have to help me. And then I had the third baby, and he really had to help me. So I feel guilty about that with Johnny, but maybe that's why we're so close now.
I was just gonna say, but it made him grow up, and he's a good kid, and
Yeah,
he's very close now because of that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that was Dominic. I was I was at the doctor's office 3 times a week. He had to go in for nebulizer treatments, and it would be 6 hours each day that I went. I went Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Wow.
I did that for about 6 months, and then finally they were like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get you a nebulizer for at home, so that you don't have to keep coming, because they would give him a treatment, and then I had to wait 45 minutes to see if it worked. Then they checked his oxygen again, back and forth, and that became a way of life. But my other 2 kids suffered because of that, because they were stuck in the doctor's office with me.
Right.
There was nobody to watch
But
them. My mother was already gone.
There's things that they got from that, though, Bucky. There's things that I think they've been blessed with by having to be there.
Yeah, well, that's why my daughter was so good with she was 10 years old when he was born.
Yeah.
And do you know, if I had to go somewhere, like, no one would babysit the boys unless my daughter was there. Well, they would take Anthony, because he was already 4 years old, so he was easier. But they were like, oh, I'll watch your son if your daughter comes.
Right.
And it was because, like, he had
She was
really
just
bad
like
GI reflux, and only her and I knew what to do during that time, because he had to get the suction thing and pull it out. Otherwise, he would choke to death on it. It would go into his lungs and all that stuff, which is why he was always
I
on.
think I had to sleep sitting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reflux. Bad.
Yeah, I used to say I'm gonna put paint in the bottle and then use them like a spray can to paint my walls.
Right.
The doctors didn't understand what I was saying. They were like, "Oh, honey, all babies spit up." I was like, "No, this is not spit up. This is my 3rd baby. I know what spit up is. This is not that." I was like, "This is like Exorcist." Okay,
Yeah.
you know, Linda Blair. That's what he's
Projectile.
doing. So I showed them, though. I made sure when I went into the little room when you're waiting for the doctor, I
Yeah.
got the bottle. I said, "Here, Dom, time for a bottle." And I fed him his bottle. And then the doctor and the nurse walked in, and I held him up, let it shoot out across the room, and it splattered 6 feet away all over them. and then they knew. They were like, oh. I was like, I said, I
Yeah.
think my son is spitting up.
Uh,
After that, they finally, because they were going to send me home. But after that, then they sent Dominic to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then they found out it was going into his lungs and everything.
How old was he?
At that point, he was 4 months old.
Yeah. Was he on an apnea monitor?
No,
Did they? No, I'm surprised.
no, he didn't have really problems with that.
Because it can make him stop breathing too.
Well, yeah, if it came up and all that stuff. But that was why I had it. Like, you know how they put babies nowadays? They lay babies on their backs.
Yep.
I was like, if I ever laid him on his back, forget it. He would
That's
choke
right.
the first day I did it. He had to be laying face down, otherwise he would choke on it.
Yep.
But you know, the
Mine-
one thing I did do with him, I never waited for him to cry before feeding him his bottle.
Right.
This way he didn't learn screaming gets me fed. I didn't want him to think that, oh, you have to scream and get fed. I would hear
Yeah.
him squeaking and stretching. I'd go get that bottle quickly. I'd come back before he even cried. I'd take him out. All right, time to eat. And he'd eat his bottle. I'd burp him. I'd put him back down and hope that it stayed in. Most of it used to come up, but it was just so much better. He was 3 weeks old and had never cried. So I brought him to the doctor and I asked the doctor, is he deaf? And he was like, why do you think he's deaf? And I said, because he doesn't cry, ever. And he said, well, do you let him cry? I said, well, no, I feed him before he cries. But even so, babies don't always cry just because they're hungry. They cry in between time.
mm-hmm.
But he didn't. He was just, that's what I mean. He was a happy baby, never cried.
That's how mine was. He didn't cry.
And I remember the doctor walked up behind him and clapped his hand. And when the baby jumped, he was like, see, he heard that. I was like, oh,
We had to do
I
the
wouldn't have
same.
scared my baby that way, but okay. At least I know he's not deaf.
Yeah, that was the last thing they told me that was wrong with her. Like we had a room at the hospital. We stayed there 2 weeks, and I would come home and tell my parents what the doctor's saying and all that, and they'd give me support. And then I'd go back, and then the last day they told me she was deaf. And when I walked in the house, I just fell on the counter, like collapsed, like I couldn't, she's deaf too. And then it just dawned on me, she's alive though. That's what I wanted her to be, is alive, and I don't take care of what was wrong with her. I'd take care of her. She was the sweetest. Her face was she was so little, and her face was so sweet. She was beautiful. And then about 2 years old, she started getting defiant with, I don't know if defiant's the right word. She was just, it was like she would, she'd have a short in her brain or something. She'd be perfectly happy, and then all of a sudden she'd start looking. I collected brass at that time, and she'd look for something brass to pick up and throw at me, or throw it at something. Or, she was, and then we'd have to calm her down, and it wasn't easy. I mean, I'd have her sit in my lap with my arms around her and thinking I was safe, and then she would throw her head back and crack me in the nose.
Ah,
It was bad.
yeah.
And I did that she started that when she was 2. So I did that for a long time. But the police did get involved. They took her one time to this hospital. They thought she'd better go to this hospital, and I was freaking out. But she had to go to that hospital, and she had to do certain things before they would release her again. And I'm telling you, she wasn't, like I said, her feet were size 2. She was short. She was little. And the girl at that hospital said, she don't belong in here. You need to get her out of here. So we got her out of there. But I was like looking for anybody's help. I had a regional center worker who told me that he knew somebody who could they had Serendipity, where they would come on Saturdays and they would take her out for the afternoon, and I could get a break.
Right, right.
Because
Yeah,
she
rested.
was not, you could not leave her. I mean, she had me on my toes. My mom was sick. She was dying of cancer. She had her breast removed. my daughter would sit in that little chair and bop her head back and forth, and she'd look at me, and then she'd leap up like she was going to hit my mom in her chest, and I'd jump up out of the couch, and my daughter would sit back down, and she would just like laugh at me.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was
Not easy.
no, it wasn't. But I think that God gave her to me for that reason, because He knew I could do that. I think a lot of my friends even would have given up, but I never gave up.
It'd be strong to go through that.
And I would take her everywhere I went, didn't let that stop me. And we would go to the carnivals, and if she had an episode, she had an episode, but the looks people would give me were, I just wanted to tell them, here, stop staring at me. Come over here and you do it. You help me. Get off your butt and come over here and help me hold her down. She's little, but she's tough.
Yeah.
And then it was all of a sudden, she'd be crying and stuff, and then all of a sudden she would just start crying this cry like she knew she was bad. She'd been being bad. Up until then, it was a different cry. It was like a like like she was being a spoiled brat. And then all of a sudden she would start this cry that was a heartfelt, like she was so sorry, you could tell.
Yeah.
And that's what would get me. I would just, grab her and hug her to death. And
Dominic goes through that too. When he gets really angry and does all that kind of stuff. And when he was younger, I was able to grab him and hold him and hug him until whatever that thing is, whatever that episode is,
yeah,
when it passed, then he would start to cry.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like they knew.
Like,
that
I'm sorry, and
Yeah. Well, she couldn't talk, so when she would do something to my dad like that, he would tell me to take her home, and he didn't want her down there right now. And she wanted to go down to my dad's house, and I would try to explain to her in sign language that you hit your grandpa or you bit your grandpa. He doesn't want you down there. You're going to stay here with me till you can be good. Calm down, calm down. And then she'd start that cry, that real cry. And that would break my heart, because I couldn't let her go down to my dad's because he was serious. He didn't want her down there. He was mad or hurt.
yeah.
He couldn't understand why she would do that, because he would let her do whatever. He'd get her whatever she wanted. And I know that's not a lot of her problem, but a lot of times, or all the time, a child needs boundaries. They need to feel secure. And if you let them do whatever they want, they're going to just not be happy. They're just going to be saying, like, what's more? Bring something else out. That's kind of like what she was. My dad he didn't know. We don't know, because they're not born with instructions. You do the best you can. Mm-hmm. And that was he called her his dolly, his little dolly. He just loved her to pieces. And he wouldn't pay my sons any attention hardly. He was all fixed on Jamie. And she would carry this little doll around with her everywhere she went. And when she was buried, we buried her with her little doll, because she would not let that doll go. And I told them that I wanted them to put on her headstone that she was in there with my daughter. So they did.
Oh.
So she got to take her baby. My dad, it was just like it was a little dark skinned doll, and a little cheap plastic doll, and she loved it. And she would tell my dad to give her a bath. My dad would wash her up, give her a bath, and then she'd tell her to dry her hair. So my dad was like, you can't dry her hair. She said, dry her hair. So he'd start drying her hair, and the hair would melt on her head. So he went out. He bought a case of those dolls.
Oh.
He had a case of those dolls in his room, and he would just go and switch it, because he would do what she said to do.
Now that's a good grandpa. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Yeah, and her one eye that looked blind when she had glasses, and my dad had taken him to this doctor that he kind of made it cloudy or frosted on the one lens. Really, what it did was draw attention to her, but in his mind, it was so nobody could see her bad eye, and they wouldn't make fun of her. But it really did draw attention to her. Like, why is her glasses like that? But my dad, he felt better about that. So we just let him do that. You know, I didn't think he would be good when she died. I was scared to tell him. And when I did, he just ran to the bedroom from my house. He ran down here and went in his room, and he just stayed in there for a day. And then he finally came out. But the day that we buried her, he came outside and he flagged me and my husband down. And my dad went to bed at 8 o'clock in the night. This was 11 o'clock at night. And he's, come here for a minute. So I go down there and he tells me, you know, I'm thinking that she's very cold, Binky. We got to go down there and get her and bring her home and give her a bath. And I thought, oh my God, I can't even grieve. I got to snap him out of this, you know. I've got to worry about him and her. So I just told him that, Dad, when she died, her spirit went out of her. That she was in a freezer for 5 days before we buried her. She's not cold. She's not cold. She's not in there. That's like her shell. That was her shell, and that's how I snapped him out of it. But can you imagine that burying your daughter and then coming home and having your dad tell you that we need to do that?
Oh, boy.
I was like, holy crap.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, he loved her so much. And when we had an open casket, and till the day he died, he regretted that he didn't take his jacket off and lay it across her, because he thought she would be cold.
Aw.
But he never take it off, but he kicked himself in the butt for not doing that. And I telling him she wasn't cold, Dad. But that is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Are we still live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Just remembered.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
I like your shirt, Carolyn.
Oh,
You gotta teach me how to do the roses in watercolor.
oh yeah, yeah. That's what I'm doing right now. I don't know. It's relaxing to me. It's
I've done watercolor flowers, but like I usually do easy flowers, like, you know, daisies and stuff like that, because it's just straight petals. But I don't know about the roses.
they're easy.
I think that one time I did try a rose. It ended up just looked like a blob. So then I used black magic marker and drew the petals and stuff like that, so that.
Mine would look like blobs. Carolyn's a natural at that. I've come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
For real. For real. You have an eye for it. Either you can see it or you can't. It's like I have an eye for color matching, but I don't have a great eye for stuff like that.
Well, that's just it. Like I could paint a rose if you give me acrylic paint,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't. I don't know how to do it with watercolor because I don't know. I guess I'm using too much water. I don't know what my problem is. It just all blends in together. So that's why I had to use the black marker to define where everything was. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, and then least, yeah, I mean, you have your granddaughters, you know, Binky. So,
Yeah, that bring Christmas back alive to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because Jamie was always so young acting, she never really did grow up. And, of course, my dad bought her a lot of stuff at Christmas. He bought all of us stuff at Christmas. But she loved the lights, mostly. And then when my dad passed away, then we just kind of, and then the grandkids started coming, and now it's on again.
Mm-hmm.
Because, your kids get to an age where you can't afford what they want, and, you can only buy them so much, or I can anyways. But to see the
They get
little
older, the
faces,
presents get bigger and bigger.
yeah,
Like
they
there's
want a
fewer and
car,
bigger.
they need-
Yeah. Tires for the car.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna have a party here this Friday for my granddaughter. She's having all her cousins. She don't have to invite anybody. Her cousins, there's 9 of them, and this place is gonna be so noisy. I'll go live and let you hear it. Those kids get together. They are noisy. I remember having fun when I was a kid, but never like this. I mean, they are noisy kids. They all look alike. I'm not kidding. Every one of them, you can tell they're related, all of them.
Are they on the mother's side?
No, yeah. Well, they're my granddaughter's cousins.
Right. That's what I mean, on her mother's side.
Oh, yeah, from the mother's side, yeah. Because I only have a brother and he has no kids.
Oh.
So he thinks, check this out, he thinks when I became a grandmother, he became a grandfather. And I go, Mike,
Oh.
you're not a grandfather.
Uncle.
You're
right
not a
on.
grandfather. I bought him a shirt 2 years ago that says, Kunkle, or Gunkle, something like that. And then said it's almost like I don't know what it said, something like, it's almost like a dad, but you're just not as good looking or something. But he seriously thinks he's a grandpa. And I try to tell him, he's 5 years older than me. I said, you're not the grandpa.
Yeah. He's never going to have a chance. Let him have a.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard too for you, Carolyn, because you had Luke and Ethan and your daughter. Well, she was older, but the boys were little when I first met you, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't just stop Christmas.
No, I
But
don't
then they
stop
don't have
Christmas.
nothing
No,
to
it's just
have
like it's
memories
hard
of.
to get everything done, and
Yeah,
it's just.
you look forward to that when your kid. That's what was my big thing. I wanted to get a cabin so that my kids could come to the cabin with their families, and we could all be together on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand now that there's one seat empty, and it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Did you ever read that poem of I'm spending my Christmas with Jesus this year?
Yeah. I have a video where I made that ornament.
That makes me feel better when I read that with my daughter.
Yeah.
The sad thing about it is death is a part of life, and everybody knows that. But when it happens to you, it's just not too bad. It really makes you stumble.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm sure that you don't feel the same way I do as when I say I talk myself into believing that she's better No one's gonna make fun of her anymore. You know, nobody made fun of your son, I'm sure. So that connection, we don't have the same thought on that.
Oh, yeah.
But she did live out of my house when she died, and so in my mind too, I just say she's in Corona. You know, I don't have to say it literally, but she wasn't here. Probably every 2 weeks she'd come here.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Corona, and so maybe that's how my mind is settled, that thinking she's just at, you know, in Corona.
Yeah.
How old was she?
24.
24. Wow.
Yeah. She actually was at work when she died.
Mm.
And I was at work when they called me and told me I have to rush to the hospital, but they wouldn't say that she died. They just said, come to the hospital and don't come alone. So I jumped in my car alone and I went straight to the hospital. I already knew. I knew it when they said that. You just know. And she was sick because I had the measles when I was pregnant. And if I didn't tell the doctor when I had these red bumps. I didn't say the right month when I had them. I wasn't pregnant yet. Not that I knew of. So when I told him when I had them, he figured it out that it was safe to go ahead with the pregnancy. But every time when he was done checking me out and stuff, he would sit and I'd meet him in his office. He would be looking like thinking hard about something. And I came home, I told my mom, there's something wrong. He has this look in his face and he's thinking there's something wrong. She goes, you are the mother. If there's something wrong, he's going to tell you. There's nothing wrong. And then after I had her, it was a month later when she got a cataract, and that's when everything started going down. You know, they told us everything. And my doctor was apologizing to me. He said I should have told you, if I would have known, I would have told you to terminate. I would never have terminated the pregnancy. I never would have. Because I was binky. That wouldn't happen to me. That's how I felt, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not going to happen to me. And I just never would have terminated the pregnancy. But I wouldn't suggest, if somebody is pregnant and they got the measles, I would suggest hopefully you don't get the pregnancy. I mean, you don't get the measles in the first trimester, because that's the worst. That's when they're developing, and that's when all this stuff happens. Like, I couldn't give her my ears and she'd be better. It's not like that.
Right.
You know, it was during her development was when the problem happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Times it's just, life's hard, and then there's like so there's not enough time. There's nothing to enjoy. Not. I don't know.
Right. I think
Enjoy it. I
that's
love
what
the
it's
people that say, "Oh, you just need to, you know, go away for 2 weeks and just
It'll be
meditate." And it's like, really?
better. No, that's with you your whole. That's with you the whole rest of
Who's
your
gonna
life.
Who's gonna do that? How am I gonna be able to do that? Tell me. You know, I just love
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
I think when people say that, though, they're just trying to help, and they say what they think would help you, but it's not really what you need to hear. Because we know that's not what's it's always gonna be there. You don't get over
It's
it
even
ever.
harder, yeah, going like it's, I don't know.
I feel I've gotten through it, but I'll never be over it. I'll never get over that. But I couldn't stop because I had my 2 young kids I had to still take care of. And I loved my kids all the same, and I wanted them to be happy too. I want them to enjoy things too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be selfish for me to have given up and then not share life with my other two. You know, it was bad enough that like Johnny had to help me all that time when he was supposed to be just a little kid playing. He was helping me. I don't know. I can get in a really dark place if I let myself go there,
Mm-hmm.
wondering what she was saying, what she was doing when it all happened. But I just don't want to go down that hole. I went down there before, and I came right back out of it, because why do that to myself?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to change what happened.
Right.
But it's normal for me to think or wonder what she was going through when she was passing away. You know,
Yeah.
was she asking for me? I don't know. And that's once I started to go down in this hole, a dark hole, and it's bad for me to do that. Because I feel guilt and I feel all kinds of stuff down in there.
Yep.
And I loved her dad so much when we were together, and he turned out to be the meanest, dirtiest. He was a cheater, he was a drunk, he was beat me up, he would do all this stuff. And he didn't even go to his daughter's funeral. He was he was a waste of skin, is how I put it. That's a bad person, and I was so in love with him. Like, how could I went out with him when I came out of my family, from my family who did nothing but love me, surrounded me with love, and made sure nobody cussed around me, and nobody did, you know. They bought me a new car, and how could I meet him and go with him? And he never worked, he was a liar. He put me through a really bad time. He hurt me a lot.
How was he
Oh,
when she was little? Like,
He was, you know, he would change the diapers, he would feed her and stuff, but he was drinking. And I don't know where he went when he left, you know, and when he'd come back. But I found him cheating with somebody, because he didn't come back one night, and I went to his ex-wife's house because I knew she was out of town. And sure enough, that's when I climbed through the window in my gauchos
on the gaucho.
and found him in bed with somebody else.
At his ex-wife's house?
Yeah, she went to the river, and he knew that. So
He brought
knew the
somebody
song.
to, wait, he was married to you and he brought somebody to his ex-wife's house to cheat on you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did his ex-wife know
and
this?
bring the
Did his
guy
ex-wife, did his ex-wife
No.
know?
about me.
No, about that he was going
She
there
knew
and bringing
about
women
me.
around.
They were getting divorced when I met him. They
No,
got
but I know, but
divorced.
I'm saying, was his ex-wife like saying like, okay, I'm going away. You want to bring some girls here? Go ahead.
Oh no, she hated him. She
Oh.
was beautiful. She was smart. She had a great job. She was a great mother, and he left her. And I should have known.
He had kids with her
then.
too?
He did. He had 2 kids with her. Yeah. And the girl that I caught him cheating on me with, he had a kid with. He's a lowlife.
He had a kid with the one he was cheating with?
When he cheated on me, yeah.
Oh
When
my.
I found him in that bed, I jumped through the window and grabbed both of their heads and I banged them together. And there was another guy in the front room with this girl. It was terrible.
And she got pregnant?
And yeah, because they continued to see each other. After I found him there, Carolyn, I was begging him to stay with me. That's how beaten down I was. You find him in bed with somebody, how come you're going to even talk to him? Just leave. But I didn't. He moved in with that girl.
Mm.
crazy, crazy.
My ex cheated on me with my father's secretary.
Oh my God.
Were you wearing gauchos?
No, no gauchos. It was beyond that. But yeah, he was another one. Abusive, schizophrenic, diagnosed schizophrenic, which I didn't know when I married him.
I'll tell you one thing, he was gorgeous when I met him, but today I saw a picture of him on Facebook. He looks like he should look after he did what he did to me. He is so friggin', he looks like a scarecrow now.
Is he married?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, he looks like he was living out of his truck. The picture that he put on Facebook, he's in it, like his truck's parked there. It looks like he was in jail, out of jail, and oh my God. But he totally was he was like a model when I met him. And now he looks like a boatman or something, I don't know.
Boatman. Oh.
Like somebody on a boat with stringy white hair and I'll share that
A
someday with you guys.
boatman.
Not now, but someday I will, and I'll show you his before and his
Before and after?
And that's what he deserves.
But he's aged, right? Look at your skating partner. When he was young, he was really cute little kid. Now,
Well,
you know,
he was-
people age, but you got to give it to that skating partner that he's still out there on that rink.
Yeah, and I just saw a post he put up. He said, I always wanted to be a producer and produce a movie about The Last Dance. The Last Dance Partner or something. And then all these people made all these comments. He put that video on there and they're all, oh, I love it. But he's crazy like that. I should tell him, where's my video?
Yeah.
I think I will. But his video that he made of us is way better than mine. It's so. He says, someday I'd like to be a Hollywood producer and create a blockbuster movie called The Last Dance Partner.
Oh my gosh.
That video made me cry.
It did me too. But I couldn't stand dancing with him. I didn't want to be around him. I just wanted to be left alone, and I wanted to skate, do freestyle.
Really?
But yeah.
Oh, he was a
But
cute kid, wasn't he?
He was, but he was mouthy, and he was just like obnoxious. People would always tell him, "Get away from me." But he's really, really intelligent, and he would talk like that back in those days, and I was like, what are you talking about? He was different, you know. His dad didn't live with them. He lived with his mom, and he had a brother, but you'll have to read some of the things he writes. He's a good narrator. He can narrate something pretty good. He went down and, you know, described everybody at the skating rink. And it's just interesting to read how he thought of people. Him saying that I would never give his mom have to accept it, that I would never give her little freestyle grandbabies. That was the furthest thing from my mind. I don't think I could ever live with them, ever.
He
But
said,
he's
"What
nice.
about grandbabies? Look at this. I bit my lips." So,
He said to, my mom's just gonna have to face it, that she'll never have any binky grandbabies, freestyle babies,
why did he say that?
because I was on my own trail. I was making my own life this way. That's what that
I mean,
song
was it before you were married?
to Rick, yeah. Yeah. He said he was in love with me when I was 13. He said he asked me to marry him when I was 13. I didn't even look at boys like that at 13.
No?
No.
Mm-mm.
I was overprotected. All I wanted to do was skate. That's all I wanted to do was skate.
Hmm.
And he was out there looking at all the cute girls that were skating at different rinks. He would go to this rink and that rink, and just because he said hi to somebody, he would tell everybody else, "Oh, that's when she was my partner," or "That's when we were doing pairs together." And he never did pairs. He's just a dreamer.
You're kind of mean to the guy.
No, I'm not. I'm not mean to him. You just have to read it.
I know, but he made you a nice video. Let him live in the limelight a little bit that he was your
It is
partner.
a beautiful video. I told him it's a beautiful video. It's really sentimental to me. It really means a lot to me, that video.
Right.
But
Just didn't like him back then.
I didn't. I don't know. I used to do my arm into his chest when we were dancing. I would just poke him in the ribs.
Oh, but you weren't mean to him.
He was the bully.
I was a bully. No.
Poke him in the ribs.
He would say stuff like like not sexual, but he would say stuff to me like, yeah, I wanna go, yeah, let's go dance. And I'm like, get out of here.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I don't know, at 13 I was boy crazy.
I wasn't.
Me either.
Yeah, you gotta know, well, this is live, so I better tell you later.
Yeah. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. So when I had my kids is when I developed into a woman. Put it that way. I was just little legs, a little stomach. That was it. I didn't even have a stomach. I just had legs. That's all I was legs on wheels. And then when I tried to go back into skating a few years back, there's a lot more of me to stand on those same size skates. And I've grown a bit, so my balance is not real good. It's hard to skate now. I never thought I'd forget how to skate. I always thought I'd be able to skate. I can remember my routine from when I was 13 years old. I remember how it started, how it ended. It's just in me, and I love to spin, and I just always thought I'd be able to spin, but when I tried, that's when I broke my elbow. I wasn't even trying to do a fancy spin. I was doing an upright spin, and I was shocked. My girlfriend said, "Go out there and do something fancy." I go, "Okay." So I tried to do it, just a spin upright, and I was like, "I am shocked I'm doing this," and then boom,
Oh,
hit my
God.
elbow. That was it for my.
When was that?
bucket list. What?
When was that?
Oh, probably 5 years ago. I had a bright idea because it was on my bucket list. I wanted to go and compete one more time in skating. Not in freestyle though. I knew that was out. I figured if I danced with somebody and there was somebody that was looking for a partner and he used to go to our club.
Now you
when
want
we
a
were-
partner, see, then you wanted a partner.
Yeah, so he wanted me to be his partner. I wanted to be his partner, and I figured, hey, you would help push me around the rink, get me around the rink. But nowadays, the edges that you have to use in the dances, before they were basic, now their edges are so deep. Oh, my feet! I get around the rink one time, and I was like, my legs were noodles. They were shaking. I could not stand up. I go, it's time for a break, and he's like, what? But I couldn't make it around the rink by myself, trying to learn this new dance. And he goes, well, just go out there and learn the dance, then we'll dance together. I said, okay. I couldn't make it around. It's too hard for me now.
You know what I find ironic?
But
You used to use your elbow to elbow him in the stomach.
You broke
Your
it.
elbow.
all right, that's enough out of you. I never thought of that.
Oh my God.
You got me there. See, he couldn't spin, but he could jump. And I couldn't jump, but I could spin.
I couldn't even stand on a skate, let alone spin or jump.
And then our teacher would make us do figures. You know those circles on the floor at the skating rink? You have to go around those. There's a figure 8, and you'd have to go around and push off, and you got to stay on that line, and then you got to turn on that line, and you got to go all the way around to the next circle, then take off, you know, do it again. And they used to, when we would practice that, our teacher would always put on some West Side Story
Oh, I just remember.
album or something, Oklahoma or something.
Oklahoma.
And I hated figures right then. I hated having to do figures, but you have to do that. That's what I did the best at the end. That's what I ended up doing the best at, was the figures. But I wish today I could go out there and do figures, because you're just pushing around those circles. You're out there by yourself. But I can't stay on the line now because it's too hard to do those edges.
I remember that.
Right when I quit, I was getting first and second place. And the other girl from our rink, she would get first or second. One of us would get first and the other, we were doing really good. Then I quit. I wish I wouldn't have quit.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, what time is it? 2:30.
I didn't, the first time I was ever on skates was when I took my daughter to learn. She was in the Girl Scouts, brownies or whatever. And they said, oh, we're all gonna go skating. And I was like, oh, I'll try, because all of the other mothers got on the skates and were out there skating. I couldn't let go of the wall. I went around the whole rink holding onto the wall. I was 28.
Thanks, Miss Mary. Good to see you. I remember your doll. You brought up your doll. I still remember that.
You know what they do now, Bucky, is they give you this thing. It's like a walker with
Yeah,
wheels,
I've seen it.
and you can stand up on skates and go around the skating rink with that.
Yeah, they did that
They-
for my daughter's 30th party. They had it at a bowling alley. And it was 80s themed, so everybody dressed up like Madonna, and we had all the fishnet gloves and all that stuff.
Oh, how
All the
fun!
bright colors, so that was fun.
Yeah,
And everybody did go skating, but I already knew I had osteoporosis. And I was like, if I fall down, my bones are going to shatter, so I didn't even try.
yeah.
Even
It
with
was
that-
my friend Yvette who told me, go out there and do something fancy. I had been practicing with him for about 2 months. They were going to put us in regionals in June, and I was like, oh my God, I got to fit into an outfit. I didn't think I could see me, but I felt like I'd be looking like Kool-Aid thing or the big old pumpkin.
Stop, Evie.
Really, I didn't. My partner told me, don't worry about dress right now. Just wear some, like jogging pants or some exercise clothes, whatever you call them. So that's what I'd wear. But I was looking forward to, I wanted to compete one more time. And they were willing to send us. But then my friend says, she would film me so I could see what I was doing when I was dancing with them. And then she goes, do something fancy. And I said, okay. Boom. That was it. Well, there was a teacher there who was helping us. He was 72 years old, and he was skating with me. And somehow my legs got tangled in his legs, and we both fell. And everybody came rushing off up on the floor. And I thought they were coming to help me. They were going to help him, and I'm laying on the floor going, "Oh my God, somebody give me a hand! I can't get up." But after that, it was just downhill from there. So. I was almost a judge at that time. I was getting ready to be a judge.
Really?
But I think the only thing I can do now is the hokey pokey. Honestly, I could spin that stick and let kids win candy. That's about
Do
as
your
far as I
granddaughters
get.
roller skate?
One of them does. That's what I'm going to get Zoe for Christmas is her own skates because she tries to skate in Ev's and they're too
Cool,
big
Miss
for
Mary.
her. And so that I feel lucky that I got a present I can get her because they got everything. I don't know I just give them the catalogs when they come in the mail. I say, here, circle everything you want, and they circle everything in the book. But they got everything in the book already.
Mm-hmm.
They had computers when they were first born. I mean, they always had an iPad or something and doing work, you know. Then they sent her home with her own laptop from school from first grade, and so that's what she does her homework on.
How old is she gonna be?
7,
7, yeah.
yeah. And Zoe's still 3.
Still 3.
It seems like when she was 2, I couldn't believe she was still 2. Someone would ask me, and I go, "She's 2, still 2." But now she's just like her hair was real short when she was young, and now it's like long.
Now that she's old lady.
Yeah, now that she's old. Yeah, when I was a kid, you are a kid. But their mom, she's got them on a good schedule, you know. And I try to tell them because they don't want to eat this, she don't want to eat that. I go, look, your mom, because she's into yoga, and I said, your mom makes a balanced meal for you guys, so you have to eat everything, you know. Like she'll give them one asparagus, they have to eat it. That's all there is to it. They'll sit there and grump about it, but now they're getting used to the asparagus. But she gives them a well-balanced meal. And they have snacks, but it's always fruit. That's what they get for snack is fruit. And she sets her alarm for 8 o'clock, and when that alarm goes off, they know it's time to go to bed. And Eb just goes to bed, but Zoe's like she's ready to play.
Yeah.
But you know she has everything on a schedule. That's great.
Yeah. Yep. That's good.
Hi.
Hi, Deborah.
Deborah.
Hi. If I drop
Hi,
off,
Deborah.
I'm still having electrical. Now it's my power board. They finally put the power back on, but now, so if I drop off, but I was just sitting here listening to the conversation, and I thought I would call in and say hello.
Is it raining there?
Yeah,
It is, and windy and all that.
the cyclone got really bad, and I lost power yesterday, and I just got it back on, but now, like, the safety switches don't want to stay on the electric board, and I can't get an electrician, and I won't get into all of it, but, you know, so I could click off at any time
The worst
know.
is over though.
of the cyclone, yeah. Now I
Good.
just have to sort out the electrical, what's
Yeah.
going with that, but it's probably
Good.
all the moisture in the air, I guess.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm glad you weathered the storm.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't
Heard
fun,
about it.
but
When I came on
Yeah.
today, you weren't here. I was like, oh my gosh, she's not on. Why isn't
No,
Deborah here?
I didn't have any power. And now I do have power, but it doesn't want to work.
You
Oh,
must
it's
have lost power when the Zoom ended.
I did. The timing.
I
Exactly.
know.
Yeah. And it had been off until just a little while ago. So, I don't know.
Well, we're
I
glad
keep
you see.
resetting switches, but they'll stay on for like an hour or something, then they'll just switch off. And I think because there's so much moisture in the air, you know those safety switches that you got on your power board? Do you have them?
We do. Some of them, we have these plugs that when you don't use what's plugged into it, after a while they shut down the power automatically.
Yeah, well, these ones I want them on, but they're automatically switching off.
That's like a
Yeah, the
fuse
breakers,
box.
they'll shut off when it detects something wrong, so.
Yeah, and also moisture can make it happen too. You know, power surge, moisture, different things.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's nothing new plugged in that wasn't plugged in before the storm. You know, it's all the same stuff. So I'm thinking it's just the moisture in the air, you know?
Or maybe because everybody's trying to turn their power on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
They do
something.
that out here. They'll shut it down. If everybody's on, they shut it down, shut it off.
No, it's just one thing in my house that runs my internet and my fridge and stuff. It's that breaker that won't stay on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
must
rest
be the
of-
moisture.
Yeah, so I think moisture got into it because I haven't plugged anything new. It's same fridge, same modem, same everything before the storm started. So I think some moisture's gotten in and it doesn't like it. But anyway, I'll have to get an electrician. It's just another thing on top of everything else with this. But that's how it goes.
Is it still raining? I've been talking on mute. Is it still raining?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I figure. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
worried about you, very worried about you.
I was a bit worried about myself.
Yeah.
Actually.
No.
So yeah, it got pretty bad.
Well, we're glad the worst of it's over.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you.
How much
Thank-
longer are they predicting it's gonna be like that?
Well, it's supposed to cross the Cape, and then it might redevelop once it gets into the Gulf, and then come back
Oh, yeah.
across on land. They don't know. Hopefully not. Well, Wayne, it's supposed to rain tomorrow too, but it's not supposed to rain as heavy because it was raining so hard today you couldn't see across the street. It was like a whiteout, but it was rain. It was bizarre. But anyway, oh my. Mhm.
idea of a fun funny prank, huh? That's just
Yeah.
the cyclone.
Oh, I know. I was so happy when the power came back on, but then when my switches were switching off, or that switch that runs this stuff, I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Not another thing now. I just got the power on. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, electrical things. And it is really more, I mean, my screens that are even underneath, like the patio roof, they've got no rain on them. They're dripping with, just because of the moisture in the air, you know? So,
We've been here an hour early.
How's the temperature there?
it cooled it down a lot. That's one thing.
Like, is it 80 now? Is it cooled down to 80?
Probably. Probably heavy.
Ooh, time to get
Probably 80 now. I'll tell you what it is. Oh, look. I'm not looking Fahrenheit. Oh, you were close. 78.
Oh. Well, that's what's called cooling down.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Because it was 100, so it's a lot cooler.
While you can, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm wondering to myself right now if I should plug, when I get off here, plug my modem and my phone into a different outlet.
Yeah, I would.
Until I get the electrician out, so I at least have that. I don't know about the fridge. Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Well, I think we're gonna.
Is your refrigerator not working right now?
I just flipped the switch back on. It's been off since yesterday. I mean, everything in there is gonna have to go out, thrown out anyway, but,
Not necessarily, not if you never opened it.
well, I didn't, but it was off for, well, not 24 hours, and in this heat, you know? Well, like I said, it cooled down, but I didn't open it. I'd be kind of afraid to eat anything out of there.
Check something frozen, see if it's still frozen.
Well, I did, and that, but I did, there, yeah, there's not much in there because I kind of knew that this was probably coming for like a week. So,
When that happens, you're supposed to put big jugs of empty cartons of, well, not empty, but you get empty milk carton, you fill it up with water. In your case, you probably should have frozen and had them in your refrigerator, because if
yeah,
the refrigerator is full, then it doesn't take so much for the motor to run. When it's
Yeah.
empty, yeah, I do know that much. That's about it.
well,
Too late for that.
I didn't do anything. I just figured there wasn't much in there because I didn't buy much because I knew the cyclone was coming. But what's in there, I don't know. Maybe what's in the freezer, maybe something in there, because I did touch it. It felt frozen. All the ice cream was melted like water, but there was a couple things in there that felt still frozen, so I don't know.
Probably have to get rid of it.
We actually,
Yeah.
when the last time we lost power, we lost it for like, I don't know, maybe 2 days or something, maybe 3
Mhm.
tops, but everything in the freezer, of course, had defrosted.
Mm.
And then, like, it turned on and everything refroze, but there's a lot, unless it's fish, you can't really defrost meat and then refreeze it.
Nah, I think I'm gonna get rid of it because see, if while I'm sleeping tonight that fridge goes off, is this trigger switch is doing this?
Yeah.
You know, I can't. I'm gonna have to get rid of this stuff.
You know, the electric company paid me for the food.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, all I had to do was take a picture of everything that was in there and send them the picture,
Right.
and with the, you know, the prices are on the meat and everything, so
Yeah, yeah.
they paid me back. I had $108 worth of food in there.
All right.
They
Wow.
pay you back because it wasn't their fault that it went off, you know? I think we tried to get them to pay for our food,
Shoot.
and it was because of my brother's tree. It was
Ah.
a fire, and it shut the electricity off on our whole block for almost 14 days. It was off. We were
Wow.
dying. And my brother was saying, oh, it's probably my sister, she's doing construction down at her house, and then come to find out it was him. That was so
We
funny.
have to do word
Not at the
cookies.
time, though.
Word cookies before we go.
That's when I learned about those lights from the 99-cent store that you plug in, or you sit them in your sun, you know, put them in the yard, and then when
Yeah, the
it's
solar
dark,
lights.
then the lights come on.
I have them all over my yard.
Yeah, take them, if your lights go out, you can stick those in the house, and you don't have to worry about something catching
Yeah.
on fire.
Except that when it storms and it's cloudy for a day, they don't go on that night.
Right, that's true.
I mean, well, you're in California, so
Yeah. But
It's
still
sunny,
sometimes
but
I don't get
it's not
charged
here.
either. I just like that idea, because you have little kids and you don't want them getting burned on candles and stuff.
I actually have a light post outside that's solar.
Oh, wow.
Not the brightest light, but it lights up enough that you can see. And
Get yourself one of those lights that goes on your forehead.
Yeah, they're the best when you have power. We love those. We all have those. They're the greatest things in the world when their lights go out.
Yeah, because you got both hands free.
Mhm.
Which one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you have a sore on your lip. Did you bite your lip, Dick?
I don't have a
Is that what
sore
you
on my lip. I bit my skin off.
I can see it.
I know. I pulled my skin right off my lip.
Ugh. Don't keep doing it. Ugh.
I know, because they get chapped, and I bit it. Oh. Oh, it drives me crazy. It'll be better tomorrow. Just gotta grow the skin on it. It's just the raw skin, you know, underneath the skin. And I don't know why I do that. I do it all the time.
Nervous habit.
No, it's just when you feel when I feel that dry skin,
You can't just leave.
I can't leave it alone. I can't just I have to.
be fighting it.
Yep. Yeah, like it's
Makes
going to
my
make
lips
it better, and then
burn.
no, it makes it worse because then you've got raw skin now, and your lip skin has to.
And sometimes when you try to pull it off, then it pulls on the skin that, ouch, it's not supposed to come off. You don't
And well, that's what happened. That's what happened to my lip right now.
Ooh.
I have a big patch of new skin under there.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yep. And I just don't know. It's the one thing about when the weather gets cold, your lips get chapped, and then I bite my lips, and it's terrible.
What are you eating?
Strawberry, dried strawberries and bananas.
Delicious.
They're good,
Love dried fruit.
but they taste like all kind of dried. They always taste like baby food bananas. They have nothing on them. There's no additives at all. It's just pure dried strawberries and bananas. Freeze
I
dried.
usually get the dried apricots. I like that.
Oh, I have those right here too. Jimmy buys those for me all the time because they're really good for your iron. And then I even have this stuff. It's like the fruit leather, but it's real fruit. There's no sugar or anything in it.
Yeah.
It's just the real fruit. I like that too.
I love fruit. I don't know.
Oh
why
gosh,
people-
I know. I eat fruit all the time. That's why Elle never buys fruit. I don't know.
I know. I said that the other day. I said, she said, I don't know what to say. I said, get some fruit. She was like, nah. I said, what do you mean, nah?
Where's your
Oh,
fruit?
fruits and vegetables are the best.
Yeah. I agree.
I'll
been
eat
eating that
any
anyway.
vegetable.
Me too. Although I'm not wild about sweet potatoes.
You know what? I was just going to make myself a sweet
I joined the
potato.
Walmart thing to get my food.
I think I'm going to put a sweet. Thank you for reminding me because that's exactly what I was going to do, Sharon. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to put a sweet potato in the microwave.
Good, yeah, go ahead. It's a good idea. I've done it. I'll eat them. As long as there's enough salt, pepper, and butter on them, I'll eat them. I don't like them with sugar on them or any of that business.
You know what? Try a little cinnamon, not sugar, but cinnamon.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Put a little cinnamon on it. Good.
I'll try that.
My dad made mashed potatoes, so we put one sweet potato in it.
Oh yeah, we've done them in stew and stuff in the Instant Pot. The sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I told you, my mother-in-law, she made these. She roasted the sweet potatoes, this rosemary, and then what was that? There's another green vegetable.
Marion Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and my son, Michael, goes like this. These carrots are great. I said, those are not carrots. Those are sweet potatoes. And he goes, really? And I said, they're sweet potatoes. And he's like, he's not believing me. And I said, Nona made them. They're sweet potatoes.
I've had candied carrots, and they do taste like a sweet potato. They really do.
And then he goes, yeah, but these weren't like, these were nice and roasted, just roasted with, so she put some rosemary on them, and it was so hysterical. I'm like, when have you seen carrots that big, Michael? Come on.
Wow,
Oh my goodness.
that's interesting. I've had candied carrots though, and they really do have a similar taste to sweet potato once they're doctored up.
Did you hide word cookies, Carolyn?
Yeah, I was, but I'm now making a sweet potato, then I'll come
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. I have a good memory.
Don't forget to poke it.
What'd you say?
Don't forget to poke it.
Oh, okay. Gotta watch it first.
Yeah,
You don't want
I usually just make like an X across it.
Put a don't just set it in there. Put a little put a paper towel under it or something to catch drippings because sweet potatoes leak.
I listened to Ruff. I got that.
Yeah.
I choked that. I listened to Ruff. I went onto that Walmart thing. This way I could do my food shopping and not have to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I went food shopping today while sitting on my couch.
I did the same thing the other day, but mine's a little slower than yours, Bucky. Mine doesn't come till Saturday.
Oh no, yeah, mine's coming in 9 hours.
But once I get used to it, I'll be right back on the.
Oh, for the winter,
Oh,
yeah.
And now
Yeah.
I can add things.
Yeah, I joined the delivery thing so that I only.
I should shop from home and let Mike pick it up.
That's what you can do.
While he's in it, he can pick up whatever else he wants. But I should literally buy stuff from home.
When he picks it up, you just park outside and
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
Okay,
What,
let's see.
zucchini and
I'm not wild about people picking out certain things for me though.
Where's my little
I will
cookies?
tell you, I've never got bad fruits or vegetables from them.
Is that right? Yeah, because especially I'm picky about green peppers. You know, I like big
Yeah,
fat
well,
ones.
I get nice, like fresh looking, good looking stuff.
Hmm.
Because I worried about that too, so I kind of tested it, ordering this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was paying a delivery all the time, but with this delivery pass,
Yeah, my problem is I can't walk far.
yeah, see, I do one store and there I am.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that noise, it made me think something was wrong with my dog. I was looking, where's he at?
What is
I
that?
keep hearing those birds or whatever those things are, Deborah's.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Debbie's good. Oh, that's
It
good
was-
sign, the birds are back.
The
Yeah.
bird. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Hear me.
Oh, I didn't even
Kind of a
realize
seizure
that.
somewhere.
I didn't realize you could hear them.
Oh yeah. Clearly.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. Wow, I'm surprised they're out.
Yeah, they're out.
So happy.
It's 6 o'clock at night, but they're out. These aren't those night birds. They're not the curlews. They're different ones.
Hmm.
But it's not dark yet, so. I haven't really heard much of them lately, the birds, but must be a good sign.
Must
What about those little animals that walk around your backyard and stuff? Where'd they go?
The wallabies,
Yeah.
they're around.
No, during the cyclone. Where'd they?
I don't know. I don't know where they were. I couldn't see.
Yeah. Poor little wallabies.
They were somewhere. There's a house that's like across the street that's up on poles, if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So that there's
Still.
room underneath the house,
Yeah.
because it's on poles, but they go under there. So maybe they went under there then.
Yeah, this way it would just be the wind, but they could just hunker down and not get too wet. It's a good place.
Well, I've seen some rain here, but rare to see what I saw yesterday and today. That rain was, wow. Something else.
Probably like El Nino.
It was really something you couldn't see outside. It's just, it was coming in sideways and swirling, and it was just looked white out the windows. It was just pelting down.
Did it thunder and lightning too? Or
We'll now get some thunderstorms,
yeah.
maybe tonight, but I don't know. But there wasn't any then, no.
No, for whatever reason, hurricanes and cyclones don't have a lot of lightning. You'd think they would, they don't. But they spawn thunderstorms and they spawn tornadoes, and so.
That's funny because you know in the movie The Wizard of Oz, he says that we must be up inside the cyclone. But
Yeah.
technically that wasn't a cyclone because they were in Kansas.
Well, they used to call them that, tornadoes, cyclones,
Twisters.
twisters.
Yeah, but now there's like a technical meaning for
The
like
twister.
where it is to the equator or whatever.
Yeah, cyclone, hurricane. Depends on which side you're on.
Santa
We're in the
cookies.
northern hemisphere, she's in the southern hemisphere.
Santa cookies.
So everything goes
And
backward.
here, I mean, like they call cyclone, like they call tornadoes cyclones.
Yes, I've heard that.
Every time Deborah said cyclone, that's what I would think of. Dorothy's voice saying, "You must be up inside the cyclone."
Yeah, they're different. They're just a hurricane, but they go the opposite way, and they come from the tropical water. But I'm not sure that, you know, there's just they're the same, but a little bit different in that way.
I didn't think of what else I needed. When I was sitting here, it clicked. I forgot to buy two things:
Mm-hmm.
iced tea mix and
You
something
might
else.
be able to still add them on, Bucky.
Yeah. So, well, I just added the iced tea mix. Cannot remember what the second thing. I know as soon as I get out of the app, I'll remember.
Mm-hmm.
You're ordering your groceries?
Well,
Yeah.
they'll come right back out and bring her stuff that she forgot.
When Ruff was telling me the other night that she said, "Why don't you just go on Walmart? You can shop and have it different." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "That's a good idea." So I tried it. I did it today.
Oh, wow.
I always thought it was so hard. I was like, but how do you find, like, you have to look through every single thing. You have to
Yeah,
just
but
keep
then, like,
scrolling and
around-
scrolling until you see what you want.
Oh, I
like,
don't. I just use the search bar.
But around this time of the year, I have to go out there because, like, there's things that I won't even remember until I see them, and go, "Oh yeah, those are good. I should get that." Like
well,
the
you see,
holiday,
that's
the
what I
holiday
did, but
stuff.
now I realized all I did was I thought of each thing. Like I thought of what goes in the refrigerator and what do I need, and then I would.
Yeah, but
type
you know
in
how like they
search
have
box.
special holiday stuff out, and you're not going to see that.
Yeah, but I think of what I would want that goes in the refrigerator. Like,
I also look
like-
at the current
butter.
flyer or circular or
No,
whatever you
no,
call
I
it.
mean like they have like holiday stuff out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they put it on a display, like it's a cart and it has all the stuff for cookies and
Like,
everything you need for the desserts
Holiday
at
stuff
night.
and stuff that like maybe you're not going to see. And
Doesn't matter, I get what I would eat and that's all I need.
okay.
I got some ramen. Ella would be happy.
Oh, yeah. It's a good emergency food to keep hanging around, that's for sure.
She
And I
eats,
even bought the pork ramen, because she said she tried it the other night and she liked it, so.
she eats that
Oh,
goober
really?
grape.
I
Yeah,
see
try
them have a
pork.
blanket on Temu that says I love top ramen and it has the container of ramen on it.
Yeah, Dominic has that shirt.
I thought about getting that. It was a blanket though.
Dominic has that shirt with the ramen thing on it. Funny thing is, he ate ramen and spilled it all over himself and it stained his that shirt.
Oh,
So he stained his ramen shirt with ramen. Because he doesn't eat ramen the way it comes. He's got to add spices to it, and he adds paprika and stuff like that.
Put a lot of hot sauce
He
in
puts
mine.
adobo in there, and it makes it all, it changes the color and it makes it spicy and stuff. So when it's stained, it like, yeah, all orange stains there.
Joseph puts eggs in his ramen.
I heard
it's like making egg chop soup.
Did you name all your kids with J's on purpose?
Yeah. For what reason? I don't know. I don't know. I did Jamie Lynn, and then when I had Johnny, I was like, his dad's name is Ronnie, so it's like Johnny Lee. That'll work. And then Joe was named after my grandpa Joe, Six-Toed Joe.
Six-toed Joe. Oh,
Yeah,
He had-
six toes?
He had 12 toes. My grandpa did.
oh, no kidding.
And I used to come home from school and I'd bring a girlfriend in with me and I'd say, Grandpa, show her your toes.
Oh my god.
He'd take his
Oh my
sock
gosh,
off,
Abby.
take his sock off. Then he goes, you know, I'm going to start charging you a nickel every time I have to do this. Okay.
My grandfather used to do that. He was the youngest of 14 kids. And when his friends would come to the window and call out his name, he'd go to the window and they'd say, "Well, come outside and play." And he'd say, "All right, you got a nickel?" And they'd say, "Yeah." And he'd, "All right." He'd go downstairs and they'd give him a nickel.
Oh, no kidding.
My grandpa would kind of,
But he was an entrepreneur at, 10 years old. What else did I need? Come on now.
My grandfather, he used to go down to the dock and I say to my friends, watch this. And I'd pick up, we used to have a lot of live mussels in the lake, right? Pick up a live mussel. Grandpa, please eat this. And he would open that and eat that mussel.
Oh,
Raw,
no kidding. Eh?
raw. My mother would be like, stop that. Yeah.
What did he eat, raw?
Raw mussel right out of the lake.
Ew.
I go, watch.
I ate one oyster one time with my ex-boyfriends because his family loved them. It was like they fought over them.
Oh, I did at the Oyster Club in Manhattan. I did one once, and that was enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That was terrible. And
I've
I
had 6 in my
escargot.
life. I keep track.
I tried
I
escargot.
tried one. It got into my mouth and I was like, "Bleh."
Mhm.
Nah, ain't doing that.
Nope.
Or they'd like, just swallow it. I was like, whole? I can't do it. I can't. Well, then,
Mm.
can't chew it. You have to just swallow it all. then why bother? I'm not gonna
Yeah.
taste it and I can't enjoy chewing it, I don't wanna eat it. That's like Jell-O. I can't
Watch
can't
it
eat
wiggle,
Jell-O too much
see
because
it
you're
jiggle.
supposed to just. How do people eat Jell-O? Like I have to turn it into a liquid in my mouth first.
It's a texture thing, yeah.
Like I have to go swish it between my teeth, and once it's a liquid, then I swallow it. I can't swallow it in Jell-O form.
I can remember trying to suck it through my teeth when I was young. To do that back in the day.
And
If my mother wasn't looking, of course.
my mother always used to, when we would go out to the Chinese restaurant at dessert time, my mother would always get the Jell-O. My father would always get pistachio ice cream, and I'd always get the chocolate ice cream.
Oh, ours always had peppermint ice cream. I'd get the peppermint ice cream. Sometimes. Every other trip, I got ice cream. Every other trip, I got an egg roll. The next trip, I got the soup. You had to keep track. Honor system.
Well,
They'd
no,
order
we
10
would go to
dinners,
dinner, so we would have
5 dinners for 10 people, is how
Yeah.
they do it. So there'd be 5 soups and 5 egg rolls. So if you don't get the soup, you get the egg roll. Then the next time you get the soup and not the egg roll. Unless you could make a deal with the one sitting next to you.
split it. Yeah, I would have been like, I'll give you half my egg roll, you give me half the soup.
We never did that deal. Isn't that funny?
I
Not a bad
would-
deal. Would have taken you up on it.
I would, when I go to a Chinese, believe me, put it this way, when you go to the Chinese buffet, they lose on me, okay?
Oh, no kidding.
I may be tiny, but when I get to a buffet, I can eat like I'm a 800-pound man.
No kidding, huh?
I go back, I get 4 full plates of food.
Wow, you're going to get your money's worth, huh?
Uh-huh. And
Yeah.
because I have to have one bite of everything they have in that restaurant, except sushi, because I don't eat sushi.
Yeah.
I don't eat anything raw. Too much bacteria.
Oh, the sushi in Vegas on the buffets is not raw. It's cooked.
Yeah, but there's that one kind that doesn't, yeah, it's not raw.
California
but I
roll.
don't like the seaweed anyway, so I still don't eat it.
California rolls, I think they're called.
Yeah, California roll, that's it. That's what my daughter always gets. She's like, oh no, the sushi's good. Get the I said, yeah, get something besides the California roll. And she was like, oh no. I go, well then you're not really a sushi eater if you're going to eat it cooked, because sushi's supposed to be raw. And she's like, yeah, but this is the only one I eat. But
Yeah.
yeah, I still don't like, I have to peel the layer of seaweed off. And then it's such a mess in my, it's too much. I can't do it.
Too much effort. I always put some of the wasabi in some of the
You use the
real
wasabi?
thin, yeah, real
Oh my
thin
God.
slice of ginger. And I put the ginger on, I laid a little slice of ginger on top, and then I put wasabi on top of that and eat it.
And you still have a roof of your mouth left?
Well,
No,
we're going to end the
for whatever-
live, but thank you guys for hanging out here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. God bless. Prayers. We'll see you.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Nice, good
everybody.
night.
Good night.
See you later.
See you later.
Alligator.